All right. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? So we are in month 6 of year 2022. And yeah, we are getting halfway through the year. So this has been a very interesting year, right? So this topic for this month is all about relationships. And when you're in a good place and you're taking care of yourself and you have really good well-being, which is a broad topic, your relationships are going to benefit. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So if you have any essential oils that you want to grab, please do. One in particular I'm going to talk about is geranium. So if you have geranium oil, that would be a really good one to use right now. All right. So, hey, everybody. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about has nothing to do with diagnosing, treating, or curing, or preventing any disease. We're talking about relationships, okay? We're talking about relationships. And for those of you who are here for the first time, my name is Allie Phillips, and I have been an attorney for 27 years, and my specialty is criminal prosecution. So now you know why I snort oils and play with crystals all day. So I am an animal protection legal expert. I specialize in investigating and prosecuting animal abuse and how it links to family violence. So I was a trial attorney, and then I have been a public speaker and legal educator for the last 20 years, and I travel the globe. Well, maybe not right now, but travel the globe and teach at conferences. And as a result of that, I created a nonprofit called Sheltering Animals and Families Together, and it's all about helping domestic violence shelters to create on-site pet housing. So I am the author of The Oily Pet and The Oily Crystal. I have been in Young Living for over 9 years. I think when I hit my 10-year anniversary, I'm just going to have a big blowout party. That's what I'm thinking. My healing business is actually 11 years old. I was going to have a big blowout party last year, but things happen in our world and that was not possible. So my business is called Manifested Harmony, and it's in its 11th year, and I have about 6 or 7 different certifications that all come together where I am a holistic wellness consultant for people and for animals, because throughout all of my businesses, animals are the common denominator. And like I said, I've been in Young Living for over 9 years. I am a brand partner. So like I said, we are in month 6 of the year of well-being. So we have a topic every month. So I hope you've been enjoying them if you've been here, and I hope you keep coming back. All right, let's dig in. All right, I hope you all have some oils. I don't think this is going to trigger anybody at all. But if it does, just smell your oils. And here's the thing. If you feel triggered by anything, that is something bubbling up that is ready to be healed, okay? Don't get mad, don't get angry, don't push it back down, breathe in your oils and let it go. So I'm going to start with our most complex relationship, and it's the relationship that we have with ourselves. Women in particular, we are so hard on ourselves. We talk to ourselves in a way that we would never, ever say to anybody else. Who's guilty of that? Nobody is harder on Allie than Allie. Show me a sign. Show me your hands in the chat if that's you. Yeah, we talk to ourselves in a way that we would never talk to anybody else. Yeah, we are so hard on ourselves. And our longest relationship that we will ever have is with ourselves. That is the number one relationship that we should be nurturing above everybody else. Above everybody else. Above spouses, above children, above other family and parents. We have to nurture the relationship with ourselves. So being kind to ourselves it's a non-negotiable. We have to be kind to ourselves. Even when we royally screw up, we have to be kind to ourselves. Here's how I see it. Talk to yourself like it's your 3-year-old self. So I have a picture of my 3-year-old self getting ready for my first ballet recital. I've been a dancer my entire life. I started early in life. And whenever I am really getting down on myself, to really push myself harder, I just look at that picture. It's in my living room. And I just look at Allie at age 3 getting ready for her first dance recital. And it's like, I would never say that to her. I would never say that to her. So instead, in those moments, flip it around and tell yourself 3 things that you like about yourself. And one big thing is to eliminate social media perfection. I love Instagram. I love all the pretty photos. And I have really learned to not compare myself to anybody's house. I do engage in crystal envy. I look at other people's crystals and it's like, ooh, I need that. So I know some of you can probably relate to that. It's like, comparison, compare and despair with crystals. But it's being kind to yourself. So it's removing things that make you feel bad about yourself. And if you have anyone that you follow on social media and you leave that page feeling worse about yourself, get yourself off that page immediately. Even if it's your sister, get yourself off that page. Because your relationship with yourself is the one that you will have your entire life. But there's all sorts of things, when we're dealing with the relationship with ourselves, do we accept compliments? This will tell you how you relate to yourself, because a lot of us push compliments away. Somebody says, oh, hey, I really like your hair. And it's like, oh, gosh, I really didn't do anything with it today. What we are doing in that moment is really showing how critical we are of ourselves, but we are also pushing away abundance. Because if we can't accept a compliment, then we can't accept any abundance coming into our life. So this was a big one for me to learn. Looking at people in the eye and connecting with them. This is really important in our relationship with ourselves. When I can tell when somebody has really poor self-esteem, they don't make eye contact. It's like at a soul level, we know that if somebody looks us in the eye, they're going to see very deeply and see how much we're hurting. So looking at people in the eyes, rather than looking at our smartphones, that's what most people are looking at now. You can't have a relationship with your smartphone, but you can have a relationship with other people. That's something to be aware of. We need to be able to release our feelings in a healthy way. They're not going to go away until we can release them. And when we can release them, we can then welcome positive feelings in their place. Because when you create a void, it has to be filled. And this is where, when I talk, near the end about oils and crystals, this is where we can release, and then the oils are going to put something positive in place, as will the crystals. So, it's really when you find yourself reacting to criticism, or, you have trouble bouncing back from disappointment, or you just keep rerunning a conversation in your head that you had or that you should have had, that all needs to be released. And, we have so many oils for that. I'm going to talk about some in particular. But when we are so focused on our flaws, that really weighs heavy on us. And we should actually see our flaws as strengths because flaws are not necessarily a weakness. A flaw is something that just simply differentiates us from other people. I mean, if we were all perfect and well balanced and strong, what a boring world that would be. What a boring world. I mean, we all have, eccentricities and, unique personalities. And as long as nobody's doing anything violent and dangerous, it's really interesting to see everybody's idiosyncrasies. So don't think of a flaw as negative. A flaw can be a strength. And another thing that's really important with the relationship with ourselves is we need to speak up for ourselves and not let people walk on us like a doormat. Doesn't matter who the person is. Doesn't matter if it's your spouse, your child, your parents, your sister, your boss. Absolute hard line in the sand. No. Don't ever let anybody treat you like a doormat. Speak up for yourself. You can do that when you have a healthy relationship with yourself. And speaking up for ourselves is not getting angry. It's just simply calmly saying, please don't talk to me that way. When you speak up and are angry and reactionary and emotional, those are deep emotions that are trying to come out to be healed. But when you can actually speak compassionately and calmly about a difficult topic, that is speaking truth, and that is speaking up for yourself. Now, I mean, another thing is it's not our job to please people. We are not here to please people, okay? We're here to live our lives, okay? Pleasing people is going to drain you. And when you have a healthy relationship with yourself, everyone around you is going to benefit. So consider that a side effect of taking care of yourself, of well-being. The side effect is pleasing people, but you're not doing it. You're just taking care of yourself. And when you're authentically who you are supposed to be, that's what people resonate with. And then it creates a domino effect of positive emotions. But when you're not authentically yourself, that's draining, trying to keep up appearances. Because, we're meant to live our lives. If you don't live your life, who is? Who's going to live it for you? Nobody. You have to live it. So you have to be you. And I know there's a lot of, cute coffee mugs out there and t-shirts that say, be you, be authentically you. No, it is real. It's not cutesy. It's real. Because when you live your life, everybody around you benefits. And this is the thing that I really see it with women in particular. I don't see it with men. We sacrifice ourselves for everybody. And there's always something that is taken priority. Oh, well, when the kids grow up, then I can pursue my dreams. Oh, when I retire from this job, I can pursue my dreams. Oh, when my husband retires, I can pursue my dreams. Oh, well, what if you don't get to that point? Don't you think they would all benefit if you pursued your dreams now? And if you actually were you, lived your life? This is really, really important. I just hear a lot of women holding back and saying, when I get to XYZ, I'll be happy. When I retire from my job, I'll be happy. When the kids graduate, I'll be happy. And don't put that condition on yourself, because it's the journey toward our dreams that we should focus on. Because when we reach the journey, then what? Hopefully there's another goal in its place. We need to enjoy the journey, not wait until we get to the end result. So it's all about taking care of this relationship with yourself, because otherwise people are going to cross boundaries with you. They're not going to treat you well. They may not intend to do that, but they will just start taking advantage of you because, hey, you know what? You'll do it. Call Allie. She'll do this. Call Allie. She'll take care of it. Nope. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. When you have healthy self-esteem and you're secure in who you are, including all your imperfections, you have really good, healthy boundaries, and people respect that. they respect it, and then it's a beautiful free-flowing relationship. But your relationship with yourself is a priority, and that is so hard for so many women. But your kids, your grandkids, your spouse, everybody's going to benefit. And especially with little kids, you are modeling that behavior for them. Because otherwise, if you sacrifice everything, they're going to grow up and sacrifice everything. And I don't think any parent wants that. All right. So it's really, the words that we say to ourselves will actually change the vibration and the frequency of the water in your cells. Did you know this? Yeah, be careful of how you're talking to yourself because you are listening. So yes, the words that we say to ourselves will change the frequency of the water at the cellular level. Dr. Masaru Emoto tested this in his water experiments. And if you've never read any of his books, he's got about 7 books out on his water experiments. And I want to show you something. This is what happens to water when you either speak lovingly to it or you speak words of hate to it. Do you see the difference? We are a creature of 70% water. Be very careful of the words that you say to yourself. This is why affirmations are so powerful. This is why prayer, when done in a positive way, not in a negative way, in a positive way where you're talking about all the amazing things that are happening in your life, not like begging for something. That's actually a negative energy. But when you're talking positively, it changes the water in your cells. Because everything that we hear changes the structure of the water in our cells, including listening to classical music versus heavy metal. A simple thank you. Look at what that does. So what you say to yourself will actually change the vibration and the frequency of the water in your cells. Isn't that amazing? I love that. Oh my gosh, I love Dr. Emoto's work. All right, let's talk about a relationship with a partner. All right, does anybody have a shot of whiskey or a dirty martini handy? This could be its own class. Here's the thing. You got to be good with yourself. You got to have a good relationship with yourself before you can really have a good, healthy relationship with anybody else. I mean, it just is. It just is what it is. Otherwise, you're going to play out your emotional wounds and baggage on your partner. And they're going to play out their emotional wounds and baggage on you. So I'm an attorney. I could not help but watch the intricacies of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial because I am a domestic violence specialist. I was very fascinated by the dynamics of it. But talk about two people who don't have good self-esteem and they have their own wounds that they're dealing with and they took it out on each other. That's what happens. It's why some relationships are very combustible. So when you heal your old wounds, you're not bringing that baggage in. So you're not bringing baggage from the past. So I'm going to, as we go along, I'm going to talk about the feelings kit with Young Living and why this is very, very helpful and such an amazing kit. But, one thing that is important when you have a good relationship with yourself, because you work on that first, you have good self-confidence and you have good self-esteem. And so you maintain your sense of self. I think we all see many people lose themselves in a partnership and they compromise to the point where they actually cease to exist as a person. They are literally living the life and the dreams of their partner, and their dreams are a distant memory. That's not living at all. That's not living. So it's important to maintain your sense of self, to do what you enjoy, to stay connected to friends. Being in a relationship is not giving up who you are or giving up, your self-esteem and your internal power. It's a partnership, not a dictatorship. And sadly, I see a lot of dictatorships. And it makes me very sad for them. Very, very sad. Maintaining your sense of self is very, very important. Pursuing your dreams is important. When you have a healthy relationship with yourself and your partner, and you have a healthy relationship, you will support each other in your dreams, even if some of them are just crazy. And you're like, you want to do what? Okay, all right, let's do it. And if that isn't happening, it's a sign that there's healing to be done. Okay. Knowing the love language of your partner is important for communication. If you haven't read any of the love language books, people have a love language, and it's either words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, or physical touch. And it can actually be a couple of those. And the main thing is just don't give up who you are to keep the peace. I see that a lot in relationships where it's like, no, I just want to keep the peace. I'm just gonna not deal with it. Ugh. Okay, this is where healing internally can help. And one of the most impactful statements I ever heard actually came at an Oprah conference of all things. I think it was back in 2012 or 2013 when I was in the DC area living there. And she said, people show you exactly who they are. We just don't listen. And then she went so far as to say, women don't listen. Women give the benefit of the doubt. And she said, you got to stop that, because people show you exactly who they are. Just take it at face value. Like, we don't even have to get offended. Just take it at face value. You know, you deserve the best partner. Don't lower your standards to be with somebody who treats you poorly. Now, don't y'all go out and get a divorce. That's not what I'm saying, okay? It's just when everybody does the inner healing of their wounds, does what I just talked about in the prior slide, and heals and has a healthy relationship with their self, all the relationships benefit. That's why this is so important. Okay, relationship with family. Okay, well, this could be a hot mess. I mean, how many of you right now are imagining a specific family member and you're like, Allie, don't go there. Just don't go there. We all have one. We all have one. So family tend to be the biggest trigger for us. And, you know, I do a lot of energy work, and we have family that is a soul level connection to teach us lessons. We're with them to teach them lessons. They are with us, for better or for worse, to teach us lessons. And while these soul relationships are teaching each other lessons, it's about you finding peace and maintaining who you are. That's important. Now, unless a family member is abusive or just downright dangerous, family is with you until the end. They are energy cords. We all have energy cords in us that connect to people, and they are energy cords that we cannot release unless they are abusive or dangerous. So we have to heal them. We have to heal them. How do we start the healing? We work on ourselves. We always start with ourselves. When you can work on healing yourself, it creates a domino effect. So here you are, and here is the family member that you're like, Allie, I don't want to go there. Here's you. You just healed yourself. We're doing domino effect all day long, everybody we come into contact with. So, poop. Because you're healed, that's a positive domino effect. But if you're like reliving 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years worth of trauma with that family member, instead of the domino effect, it's more like, and then what do you think is going to come back? But if it's healed, it's like, and then they topple the next person and the next person and the next person, and it creates, oh man, who sings that song? The OJ's Love Train. That's just going through my mind right now, you guys. This is crazy. You remember the song Love Train? Yeah. Everybody gets on the love train. So forgiveness is what heals the old wounds, and so much of our current behavior and our beliefs were created when we were young children before the age of 7, when we didn't even know that these behaviors and these core beliefs were being formed. I mean, we're very impressionable. So healing our inner child is very, very important work to do, and it can just have widespread effects through the family when we do it. But, creating healthy boundaries, especially if you have family that doesn't support you in what you do. I mean, for those of us who work with oils or crystals or any other sort of healing, if they don't support you, either talk to them rationally and logically about what you're doing. And if they don't support you, you can walk away. You can walk away from that because it's your life. So, sometimes we need to speak up for ourselves, but when we speak up with kindness, when family is hurtful or triggering, just realize that that is their wounds coming out. You just happen to be the lucky recipient of that. Okay? So they haven't dealt with their own inner healing. So it's important for you to keep the healing work going on yourself, because then this stuff it's just not going to bother you as much. Okay, suppressing your feelings, brushing the problem under the rug isn't going to resolve it, but you working on yourself is going to be the trick, because we can't control what other people do. I think we all know that. I think we'd like to control what other people do, but we can't. We can only control ourselves. You do the healing on yourselves, and sometimes that is every day for your whole life that you work on yourself. Okay, so pursue your dreams, pursue your life regardless of the opinions, because unless this is coming from a family member that is highly successful and you highly respect their opinion, if you look at their life and it's like, well, I wouldn't want that life, well, then why would you take their opinion? Why would you take their opinion? Okay, so think about that. Don't take the opinions of people whose lives you don't want. Don't take their opinion. So live your dreams, live your life. And when you're in a healthy relationship with yourself, that will start to spin off into the rest of the family. Okay? All right, relationships at work. Another hot button topic. Oh my gosh. So here's the thing. You can't choose who you work with unless you're the boss or you have your own business. I think this is truly why so many people are refusing to go back into the workplace after the pandemic, because they're like, I worked at home and I loved my job. What I realized is I didn't love the toxic environment and I didn't love my coworkers. I heard that from so many people. That HR complaints went down because everybody was working at home. Put everybody back in the office and everybody's wounds come out. Okay, so you spend half of your waking hours in the workplace. So if you are surrounded by toxic, life-draining people that you really would not choose as friends outside the workplace, if that is your life, then that's going to be the title of the book about your life. And the title of the book is, I work in a crappy job with toxic people and it's making me sick. Been there, done that. Okay, it's not worth it. So it's really fascinating watching people leaving traditional work and creating their own businesses because they realize that a toxic work environment is destroying their health. I was one of them. I walked away from being at the top of my legal career. I couldn't go any higher, really. At the top of my legal career in DC, I literally ditched it and moved back home to Michigan. And then I'm like, now what am I going to do? Hey, everybody loves oils and crystals and energy work, and people love cats. There you go. There's my business. So I'm not telling you to ditch your job, but if you work in a toxic work environment, it will take a toll on your physical health. I literally went into stage 4 adrenal failure, not adrenal fatigue, adrenal failure, and a host of other problems. That money and that career, as much as I love the job, not the people, as much as I love the job and the money, it wasn't worth killing myself. It wasn't, because I was slowly killing myself. So if you are in a job right now, one of the best things that you can do is to find the positive people, or make a decision that you do not have to be friends with your coworkers. And that was a decision that I made. I'm like, I don't have to be friends with them. I don't have to go to happy hour with them. I don't have to give them my non-work time. I can literally come here and work and have a healthy work relationship and leave it at that. But if you can find the positive people, that's really good. Limit your time with them, avoid the toxic people. So in my crystal classes that I teach, I often talk about one of my coworkers who was, I called him Eeyore. There was nothing ever positive going on in his life, and physically it was taking a toll on him. He was literally dying before our eyes. I mean, he was just so negative. There was never anything good in the world. And he would stand, I was always the first in the office. He was the second in the office, and he would stand in my doorway, and I'm not exaggerating. This is what he would do. All slumped over. Good morning, Allie. Oh my gosh, I just felt like a wet blanket was thrown over me when he did that. And I learned very quickly never to ask him how he was doing, because that's just kind of a gut reaction. Somebody says, good morning, and you're like, hey, how you doing? I learned not to say that, because he would spend 20 minutes regurgitating all of his problems. So I set healthy boundaries. And as soon as he came to my door and said that, I said, hey, I'm working on something real quick. I'll swing by your office in 30 minutes and check in on you, because I was his supervisor. So I set a healthy boundary with him. Basically, go to your desk. I'll be there in 30 minutes. I will control the situation. So set healthy boundaries. Close your door if you have a door. Put on headphones if you're in a cubicle. Just be unavailable to those toxic people. And when you do that, your gifts in the office are going to shine. Let your gifts and your talents shine. And if they're not being appreciated, move on. Because seriously, even if you like your work, you can find the work in another place where you're respected. And that's a big thing, because if you're spending half of your waking hours, your relationships at work and how you are treated as a person is really important. I know too many people who come home at the end of the day, they have no energy for anything. No energy for hobbies, no energy for creating a side project or a business or writing that book that they want to write. No time to go to the gym, because they're exhausted, because they literally were depleted all day long. Because remember, words and how it changes the frequency and the vibration in our cells. They're in a toxic work environment. So when they get home, literally the water in their cells is like, I'm not in a good place. You just need to lay down on the couch and go into vegetative state. That's not worth it. No work is worth it. So finding what you love is so important. That's what I love helping people with, is finding what they love. All right, let's talk about relationships with friends. Okay, here we go. 10 signs of toxic friendship, our frenemies. So here's what's interesting before I get into them. As we age, it's a little more difficult to find and maintain friendships, because either they are in a partnership and you're not, or they have young kids and you don't, or, they're retired and you're still working, and, friendships start to suffer. And if you have friends that are toxic or draining, they're actually not friends. It's not a friendship, it's an obligation. So, this is one relationship where you have total control. Okay? You don't really have any control over your family. You certainly don't have control over coworkers. You have total control over friends and who you choose to give your time to, who you want to enjoy time with, who you're going to walk away from, who you're going to set boundaries with. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you can do. But these are 10 signs of a toxic friendship. You give more than you get. Your friend monopolizes the conversation and never asks about you. It's all about them and all their problems or all their dreams. It's just all about them. You don't trust them. They're not reliable. They cancel at the last minute. They cancel almost everything. It's just constant letdown and disappointment. You just can't trust them. You dread looking at your phone and seeing that they left you a message or I mean, when you just have that dread, like, oh God, now what do they want? That's a toxic friendship. That's a clear sign right there. You should be excited to hear from your friends. When you don't enjoy spending time with them, like you're happy when they cancel. You're like, yay. I shouldn't laugh. But I've had friends like that. And I'm like, oh, thank gosh. I'm so glad that they canceled because I'm at the end of the workday and I'm a little tired and they're just going to drop me to the floor with their negativity. That's not a friend at all. It's not. And people, you don't like who you become around them. Like they engage in bad behavior and you get wrapped up in it, like gossiping, or you're always walking on eggshells around them. Like you don't want to rock the boat. Or that they badmouth everyone. If they badmouth everyone, they're badmouthing you too. So, a complaint every now and then, like once in a blue moon, is okay to get it off your chest. We go to friends and say, oh my gosh, I'm having this problem. But friends are not dumping grounds of problems. They're back and forth conversation. Like, I have this problem. This is what I'm thinking of doing to solve it. Like, it's coming with a solution, not just to dump your garbage. And I think we all know people who do that. They just dump their garbage. And then it's like, well, do you want some help? And then they don't take it. So, so that is a big red flag. If a friendship is more of a competition than supportive, that's not a friendship at all. Friends who do these backhanded compliments or jokes at your expense, they don't have good intentions. And if they say, oh, I was just kidding, no, you don't get to tear me down as a joke. That's not a friend. Or when you have to make excuses for their bad behavior. That's something that's real telling. And lastly, when you feel used, when you just feel used, like they're always taking, and they give nothing in return. That's signs of a toxic friendship. And that is a sign that you can slowly start to drift away so that you can make room for healthy friendships. Because there's all different levels of friendships. There's acquaintances, there's friendships, there's work friendships, there's best friends. Surround yourself with people who support you and lift you up and cheer you on. These toxic friendships, you owe nothing to them. You don't even owe an explanation. Because remember, it's your life. It's your life. And if there's drama, do you want that in your life? Okay. So we tend to draw in the same toxic people until we heal that in ourselves. So I'm going to recommend a podcast. This was actually a podcast from last Monday from one of my coaches, Kristen Boss. I'm in her coaching academy, and her podcast number 109, just go to kristenboss.com. The podcasts are on her website. Go to podcast 109, and she calls it Mind Your 5. Be mindful of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It is not just a fancy phrase that we put out there in the personal development world. It actually is going to be very determinative of how successful you are in your business, in your health, in your emotions, in your dreams, in your relationships. Really look at the 5 people you spend the most time with and create healthy boundaries. I mean, you have permission to say no. No, I can't get together. No, you don't have to give a reason. No, I'm sorry, I can't get together. You have permission to end the friendship. You have permission to limit the friendship with some boundaries. You can even limit your social media and either unfollow or unfriend people where you don't go to their page and feel good. You're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. So friend up. Friend up. I always like to be the lowest common denominator in the group so that I'm lifted up. And when they lift me up, I lift them up. And it's just a beautiful energy. Okay. So that is one thing that we can control. All right. Relationships with animals and nature. Okay. This is the most unconditional, loving relationships that we can have. Because animals are unconditional in their love. Even Teddy the moose. I love Teddy. When I go to Alaska, he is at the Alaska Conservation Center, and they raised him since he was a baby. And he's super friendly. Yes, he weighs 2,500 pounds. So there's a fence between me and Teddy, but so loving. I go there and I give him Reiki. I let him smell oils. But our pets are healing in so many ways. They will come to us when we are stressed, when we are sad, when we are ill. I mean, how many of you have pets, and when you're ill and maybe laying in bed or on the couch, they come and they lay on top of you or they lay next to you? That is their unconditional loving nature. And so, you know, and same thing with being out in nature, connecting with trees and flowers and going to the beach and going to the woods and going to the lake and the mountains and camping. Mother Earth, we can have a beautiful, unconditional, loving relationship with her. The earth heals us. If you've ever heard the concept earthing, it's actually a scientific concept. When you put your feet on the ground, you create an ion exchange, and it creates an anti-inflammatory effect in the body. It's beautiful. So our relationship with animals and nature is very healing and very connecting. And essential oils and crystals and all sorts of things actually come from nature. And I think that's why we love them. But we also love our animals. So I've got my cats. I don't even know where my cats are. Usually Rudy's on the back of the chair. So this is a beautiful relationship for us that goes back to the beginning of healing our relationship with ourselves. And then it's really looking at who is your tribe. I mean, we spend a lot of time online these days, and we can create some connections there, but really our best true relationships are in person. So whether it's friends or family or work colleagues, having your tribe is very important to your overall health. I mean, these are people that they got your back. They got your back if you're in trouble and if you need them. You know, these are like-minded people to where, you know, you can have difficult conversations, you can have challenging conversations, but it's all from a safe space because you're like-minded around a particular topic. So it's identifying what you want in the people around you and what you can give to those people. It's always a two-way street. And you can have many tribes, but the common theme is that you want to spend time with these people. So connect with them, cheer them on, promote their businesses, be yourself with them, help them out, they'll help you out. I mean, this is on the screen, my Young Living tribe. Who's all going to convention next week? Because if you're going to convention, find me. I'll be the white-haired lady running around. But we're all like-minded. These are very, very solid relationships that you can create, okay? All right, let's move on. So we're moving up the chakras through this whole series. So of course, we're going to talk about the heart chakra when we're talking about relationships. So the heart chakra is the energy center in our heart. And it's where our emotions and love and compassion is based. It's what gives us balance because it is the center chakra between the upper and the lower chakras. And one of the biggest things that we can do to balance our heart chakra is to forgive. I'm actually going to give you a forgiveness technique in just a moment. And when our heart chakra is balanced, you know, people with a balanced heart chakra are very warm and they're sincere, they're happy, and they're just very connected to life and they want to help others. They're very giving, they're very peaceful. It really takes a lot to throw them. People who have a depleted heart chakra are withdrawn and antisocial and intolerant, like critical and judgmental, but suffer from loneliness and also can suffer from lack of empathy. And then people who have an there's Rudy. I knew he was going to do that. And people who have an overproducing chakra that's excessively producing, these are people who are demanding and jealous and clingy and codependent. Okay, because they're trying to get that love energy from somebody else rather than from themselves. All right, and I'm going to give you oils and crystals that will help balance the heart chakra. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's talk about some lifestyle techniques. So one of the best things that you can do in part of your self-healing and the relationship with yourself is working on your mindset. So list your 10 best things about yourself. 10 best qualities. Seriously, this week, I want you to do it. And if you want to email it to me, I would love to see it. But I want you to do that. 10 best things. Okay? Create a morning ritual because this sets your energy for the day so that no matter who you encounter, you're in a good headspace. And a morning ritual can include exercise, going for a walk, reading, journaling, meditating, listening to frequency music, an essential oil routine, a crystal routine, gratitude journaling, can be anything. And a morning ritual can be 5 minutes long or it can be an hour long, okay? It will set your energy for the day. Personal development through classes like this, through books. You know, we're a work in progress, always. We're a work in progress. So personal development is working on yourself, that relationship with yourself. That's good. Positive affirmations, they absolutely work. Just like the water experiments that Dr. Emoto did. I mean, he proved that what we hear from other people, other sources, as well as what we say to ourselves, will change the pattern of water. It changes the structure of water. Okay, so positive affirmations are amazing. So Rudy and I do positive affirmations every morning, right, Rudy? We do. I tell Rudy, you are special. You are loved. Okay, do positive affirmations with your pets. Set your intentions for the day. And this is part of a morning ritual. You know, how do you want to feel? One of the questions I ask myself is, who can I help today? Who can I help today? Who do I need to talk to today? What words do I need to say today to the person that needs to hear them? And sure enough, I'll have a conversation and it's like, oh, okay, well, that came out of the blue. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Set your intentions for the day. And visualization, I love this. You know, this is where you can use your oils and you can inhale self-confidence and you can exhale self-doubt as you're smelling your oils. And then other lifestyle techniques, you know, about gathering your tribe and your friends and your family and your coworkers, like the people that you want to be in connection with, gather around your essential oils for wellness, for purpose and abundance. You know, host an oil gathering or a Savvy Mineral, you know, girls' night makeup event, or an oily crystal DIY. I love doing those. You know, have a gathering at your house, a picnic with everybody brings an oily food or drink to the potluck. You know, host a rosé and rollerballs event. A pet oil class. You can do it in a park and bring dogs. I did that a couple of years ago. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. Everybody brought their dogs. And it's like, okay, everybody pay attention. They were so focused on each other's dogs. It's like, okay, we're just going to have fun. You know, host a self-care oil class at an animal shelter or an assisted living facility. But just gather and you'll really start to really find your tribe that way. All right. I want to talk to you about this forgiveness technique. Now, this comes from a book called The Law of Forgiveness, because this is the way you heal relationships, forgiveness. So the book is called The Law of Forgiveness, and it was written by Connie Domino in 2009. She's a nurse. And I'm just briefly going to give you the steps because it's really easy. First, you make a list of everyone that you need to forgive. You know, anyone that comes to mind, whether the issue and situation was significant or minor. Also make a list of people that you feel need to forgive you. And then add yourself to this list. And you can go chronologically. You can start with the most recent past and work your way all the way, down to childhood. And part 2, find a quiet location, no noise or computer, television, no interruptions from people or pets, and sit in a comfortable position and visualize a person on your list. I like to pretend like I'm sitting in a movie theater and they come across the stage. And you visualize them as their happiest, healthiest self. Just surrounded by this beautiful healing light. And what you're doing is you're visualizing their higher self, like at a soul level, not the nasty ego personality that hurt you. Okay? Even if you have to visualize that 3-year-old version of them, visualize kind of the best version of them. And then step 3, you're going to say these affirmations. So on the top of the screen, this is the affirmation to forgive other people. I forgive you completely and freely. I release you and let you go. So far as I'm concerned, the incident that happened between us is finished forever. I wish the best for you. I wish for you your highest good. I hold you in the light. I am free and you are free, and all again is well between us. Peace be with you. And sit with that. Sometimes one time will do it. Sometimes you got to do it 20 times. Now, you can also say this affirmation for others to forgive you. So instead of saying, I forgive you, you can say, Sally forgives me completely and freely. She releases me and lets me go. So far as Sally is concerned, the incident that happened between us is finished forever. Sally wishes the best for me. Sally wishes for me my highest good. Sally holds me in the light. Sally is free and I am free, and all again is well between us. Peace be with us. And then for yourself, for forgiving yourself, because I started out by talking about how hard we are on ourselves. Sometimes the forgiveness of ourselves is all we have to do. So for yourself, it's on the bottom of the screen. I forgive myself completely and freely. I release myself and I let me go. So far as I'm concerned, the incident that happened is finished forever. I wish the best for me. I wish for myself the highest good. I hold myself in the light and I am free, and all again is well with me. Peace be with me. This is very powerful. And if you are smelling the forgiveness oil while you do it, it is even that much more powerful. So let's talk about oils. The feelings kit. I mean, if I just had to pick one thing, that is it, the feelings kit. This is your emotional toolkit for identifying, processing, and releasing emotions that you no longer want to hold on to. Okay? It's going to help you move through and transform past memories so that you're not triggered by them anymore. Okay, so remember, our belief system is set by the age of 7. So there were a lot of things that we experienced as a child that we had no control over. Okay, this is a transformative kit to move us into a positive energy by dropping the negative emotions that hold us back. So use it when you're with toxic people, people who take your power, people who disrespect you, people who are difficult, jobs that are challenging, family that triggers you all the time, friendships that you're getting ready to let go. You're going to find yourself stronger and setting healthier boundaries. And when you have a healed relationship with yourself, that energy goes out and people respond to it. When we have low self-esteem and low self-confidence, people sense that and treat us accordingly. The feelings kit helps with that. So, you start with valor, or oil of courage. You then go to harmony. The protocol is in the kit. I've also put the protocol on many of my social media pages. But you go to valor, then harmony, then forgiveness, release, present time, inner child, and valor again. Okay, these are very, very powerful oils. I could do in fact, I do a 1-hour class just on the feelings kit. So if you don't have it, this is a kit that I feel that every home absolutely must have. All right. White Angelica. So this is also another great oil because it is our what was I going to say? Our protective oil. Okay, it's like an angelic protection. Black spruce is the same thing. This is a protective and grounding oil. Trauma life, the name says it all. It really helps us to process and transform past the past. And then the Sarah oil is for very, very extreme situations in the past that you want to process. So I would really encourage you to check those out. All right, for crystals, and here, hold that thought. I am missing a piece of paper here. Here we go. I found it. It fell on the floor. Sorry. I am on the move. I had my notes fall on the floor. So for crystals, citrine, I really like. It's a happy and protective stone. It is known for soothing family discord. Okay, maybe you need a big piece in your house. It raises your self-esteem and removes destructive tendencies like allowing people to walk all over you. And it'll help you feel less sensitive to criticism. Danburite, this is called the crystal of enlightenment, and it has a very pure and sweet high vibration. It's a heart chakra crystal and very, very powerful heart healer that helps you leave the past behind, and it brings a lot of deep change and just serenity to the heart. It is really beautiful. It's one of my favorites. Kunzite is the stone of emotion, and this connects you to universal love. Whether you want to call it God or source or what have you, it is connecting you to a loving energy that is unconditional. And it awakens the heart and it breaks down the heart walls, and it just gives you an energy of belonging. It is a beautiful crystal. Malachite is powerful for deeply releasing negative buried emotions. So I often joke that malachite don't care about your emotions. If you lay malachite, like all of these, you lay on your heart and just let it sit on top of your heart. If you lay malachite on your heart, you are giving it permission to go in and literally rip the Band-Aid. Malachite don't care if it hurts. It's like, will you put me there? Because you want me to purge these negative emotions, so I'm going to do it. It's not going to be pretty. I love to pair malachite with rhodochrosite, because rhodochrosite says, malachite, you don't have to be such a bull in the china shop. It's okay. Okay, we're going to do this gently and softly, and I'm going to let you do all your deep work, pulling out the unforgiveness and all the childhood trauma. And releasing those old energy patterns and all those habits. I'm going to let you do that, but I'm going to do it in a gentle, loving way and bring self-love in and heal the inner child while you're doing that. That's what rhodochrosite does. So those two are really good together. And then rose quartz heals your heart so that you attract positive relationships. I think we all should be wearing rose quartz necklaces because the necklace will hang right here at our heart chakra. Everybody needs that. All right. So I always like to recommend a couple of books. So I like the book Soup. If you haven't read this by John Gordon, he talks about how to create a culture and optimize relationships. If you're in a workplace, you can relate it to your family, you can relate it to friends, you can relate it to a home business. It's really an amazing book. I really like it. And then Carolyn Main has this amazing book called Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils, where she goes through and identifies trapped emotions, where they are in the body, specific meridians, and where you put the oils, like the pressure points, whether it's on the hand, the feet, the body, the face. It is an amazing book. I think it was the first essential oil book I got 9 years ago. It's amazing. All right. So of all the people you will know in a lifetime, you are the only one you will never leave or lose. To the question of your life, you are the only answer. To the problem of your life, you are the only solution. The only relationship that you are going to have your entire life is with you. All of this starts with you. And that you are in control of. So for control management specialists like me, that's a good thing. It's like, yay, something to control. All right, so I'm at the end. I want to tell you just about some classes if you're interested. If you're local to me, I'm teaching a healing technique called integrated energy therapy that gets the emotional issues out of the body. It's amazing. I'm teaching those classes in September. I'm going to be teaching a healing angels class. We talk about 9 healing angels and meditate with them and connect with them. It's really beautiful. That's going to be online in September. And my crystal healing classes come back. I only teach them 2 to 3 times a year. This is the last time they're coming back this year. So I just finished my crystal season last month. Take the summer off from crystals, and then we come back in September through the beginning of November. So if you're interested in any of those, like if you want to understand how crystals really work, I teach the science. I will help your left logical brain understand how they work. If this lawyer brain can understand, anybody can understand. And they pair beautifully with essential oils. All right, and if you or anybody watching this is not in Young Living and you're thinking, wow, I need to get that feelings kit, whoever invited you to this, get with them to get started. Okay, if I invited you, there's my information on the screen. But whoever invited you, get with them so that they can help you get started, because these oils are very transformational. Okay, so definitely get on the oily bandwagon with all of us. And then if you want to stay connected, you're going to see a lot of Rudy, you're going to see a lot of the cats on social media. All right, so I am going to go ahead and stop the recording. And then for those of you who are here live, if you have any questions or comments, you can say that. So thanks a lot for watching.